So this is a great question, and I'm so glad that you brought it up. What is everyone's opinion on parents making their child pay rent? Let's get into it. So my quick answer is no, they should not be paying rent. But hear me out. I am not saying that you should not teach them to have responsibility or to teach them money management. There are other ways that you can do this without having them pay rent. So when I was growing up, things were a little different, but we can still apply the same things. For example, you can have your child or your teenager pay for their own phone bill. Whether you want to do that by them getting a small job or giving them an allowance, that's completely up to you. When they get a car, have them pay for their car and for their car insurance, obviously with their own job. And while they have their job, you can go into the whole how to pay taxes, how to be responsible, how to set up, maybe like a list so they know when to pay, their bills on time. That includes, any maybe like any subscriptions that they have, whether for video games or Netflix, Hulu, all of those things. They can pay those. But charging your child rent, monthly rent, to stay in their own homes, that's not acceptable to me because that puts so much pressure on them, whether they're a teenager still or a young adult, and there's a lot of complications that can come with it. For example, are there other siblings? Are you going to ask the other siblings to also contribute and pay rent when it is their time? Are you going to ask the same rent price to them? Or are you going to give the excuse of, oh, well, your brother wants to go to college or your sister wants to go to trade school, so we're going to support them while they do that, so we're not going to ask rent from them because they're going to college. That's just not okay. And literally not okay at all. And for you parents who had children with the single thought of, well, now I have someone to take care of me when I'm older, shame on you. That's not what having children is for. Your children should not be paying your mortgage. Your children are not in charge of your life. That's your life. Your children didn't ask to be here. And I've said this before. They didn't ask to be born. You brought them into this world. So why are you making life difficult for them when the world already does that by itself? Your home should be a safe place for your children, whether they're young or old, doesn't matter. Now, let's say your child is much older, they're like 27, they're still living at home. Maybe things are different then, and maybe they want to contribute, but every case is different.